Hey, I am Dragonfly Jones, aka America is Musty.
I am the Jethro Jenkins, aka John.
I'm Gardy B, and this is the Jenkins Jonez YouTube channel. We've got fresh YouTube exclusives dropping every week. Like and subscribe so you make sure you get everything in your feed. I haven't had a chance to fully digest it, but I want to hear y'all have been talking about the new Schoolboy Q album in the group chat, and I just want everyone to get to hear what y'all have had to say about it, / for you to gas me up about listening to it. Tyler, why do you love this album so much?
For one, we're all big Schoolboy fans, right? Like, love the dude's music. His music he's one of those guys who makes artistic, fun music, right? Like, you can tell that he's someone who loves what he does. But this album, bro, and I want to be clear, I'm very high on Schoolboy. I have said for years that I think that Blank Face is the best rap non-Kendrick album that TDE has ever released. And I think that this album, I think that Blue Lips, I think it's the best shit that Schoolboy ever cooked up for us, bro. I think it's the best work that he's ever given us. It is so incredible. It's a very ambitious album where it feels like he nailed every risk that he took. There's beat switches galore. He's going with the soul sample flips, and that's kind of something new, to Schoolboy. We really haven't seen him really go down that lane, but y'all know me, that soul sample shit, like, that is my shit. If you're a rapper who's gonna have some soul sample beats, you got me, bro. It's that fucking simple. And he really, really showed out on this album. Like I said, it's a very ambitious album where it feels like he nailed every risk that he took, and the music is just incredible. Like, thank God for me. Can't tell you how many times I played that this week, and it's so fucking good.
I remember seeing, like, I was watching the Boiler Room and heard Thank God for Me and was like dancing in my living room. I don't feel that way about rap anymore. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt like this about a rap album. It definitely wasn't last year. You know what I mean? Maybe K Dot. You feel me? Like, I don't really get this caught up where I'm playing rap albums for. I could see myself playing this throughout the year. Kind of like with like, and it just the feeling of it is like it's such a like the places it goes are so varying, right? But it all still feels so cohesive, which is so odd to me. I don't know how they did it. I was talking to Tyler, like, maybe the elements are the same and, the execution is just different on each song. But I want to know, like, what producers, I want to research the album, see how they made it feel so cohesive, being that he goes to so many different places. And he mixes in, like, really rapping shit with, like, the hood shit. And, like, for me, K-Dot's the best rapper, potentially on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Best from TDE. But Schoolboy is my favorite rapper. Like, I've listened to more Schoolboy than K-Dot probably bought times 5. You know what I mean? And bro, like this, I was telling Tyler, I didn't want to say it, but this is his best work. This is his best work. It's fucking beautiful. And I think on every level, it's a 10 out of 10 to me. Like, even the rollout, you know what I mean? It's just, I while listening to this, I smile because I'm proud of the nigga, like I know him. Because I feel like we grew up with him. Like, like, like you grow up on rappers. Like, we grew up on Snoop, but we didn't grow up with Snoop. We grew up with Schoolboy. So it feels a particular way seeing him create a work this beautiful. And he's been so open about his struggles, like with losing Mac and his struggles with, depression and whatnot. And to see this man like create such a beautiful piece of work, bro. Like, I feel proud of the dude. Like, it is so, so, so good. And I could see myself listening to this for years to come. It's just and also one thing I want to point out too is like it just that whole group, like we've seen that whole like group of people that came up at the same time, like even like Vince, you know what I'm saying, like how he's changed his music and it's become so artful. And I hope there's room for NBA YoungBoy and all that shit, but I hope that people are listening to this shit and follow this path too. Because this is the type of rap music that I fucking am a fan of. You know what I mean? And I'm old and, fuck me, nigga. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a 25-year-old trying to make music for me. You know what I'm saying? But I do hope there's some guys listening and pick up on this shit. Because it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
Yeah. Going back to what you said about how, we like grew up with Schoolboy. That was kind of a feeling that I had listening to this album. It feels like an album that was very true to his personality, right?
Yep.
It feels like, like you said, you were proud of it. I'm sure Schoolboy is proud of it too, because it's just an album like, you know, you got Schoolboy, you got Kendrick. Kendrick is a bit of a recluse. You know, he shows us his personality at times, but Schoolboy has let us in. Like, we know that he's a funny, humorous dude. You know, kind of in the same vein as Redman, where their album is like an embodiment of their personality. It feels like that with this album, right? It feels like a very Schoolboy album in the sense of this is this man bearing his soul, bearing his personality, the Schoolboy that we all know that he's let us in to see.
And to speak to that, when we were at South by Southwest, when we saw him at Peckerheads, which was crazy, nigga, like first time seeing Kendrick was in a dive bar. There was two sides of it. Somebody else was playing on the other side. Then we went to the other side and it was Big Crit. You know what I'm saying? Then we went to the other side after there was MGK.
Fucking era, dog.
You know that, but what a time. And MGK was fire. That performance was great. But anyway, different MGK. But anyway, like, bro, like Kendrick and Schoolboy both walked out to 6th Street. You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy opened up for Kendrick. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't really know. I think he was he on Michael Jordan mode with Kendrick and and that's the only thing I really heard from Schoolboy prior. But I'm like, I don't know if he got anything else. He might be the homie that just got one feature and his music trash. And I was like, yo, fell in love with him. He jumped in the crowd, was rapping with Jabari back and forth and shit. Like, it was hella cool.
Then
after
Habits
it,
and Contradictions dropped. And woo, goddamn.
Woo, you hear me? But after the performance, Kendrick kind of ducked off, like through ninja dust, nigga. I looked over, saw Kendrick right next to me. Looked over again, he was gone. Schoolboy sitting out there rapping with everybody, chilling. Right. You know what I mean? Very different personality. So that's maybe why he's my favorite. I feel like his music's more relatable. You know, even as a nigga that didn't grow up, you know, as a Crip, none of that shit. You feel me? Well, no, none of that type of shit. He makes it. Yeah, he makes it very. I don't know. His music very relatable to me. And as a nigga that doesn't drive a Rolls Royce, I feel like I can feel what he's talking about. You know what I mean? But I think
you're
that's
depriving the world of Loke Jethro Jenkins. You know what I mean?
we ain't proud of that. No,
you
sir.
You don't fuck with Loke Jethro Jenkins?
I mean, bro, what do I have to do in order to get that? I'm not built for that shit, nigga. You feel me? None of that. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, like, he's like you said, he's been very open, you know, about what he's going through, and to see him get to this point and create such a beautiful piece of work, like I said, I'm just proud of the man. But it is so fucking good, and I think, you know, it's early as fuck, but I can't see a world where this isn't, you know, doesn't get a Grammy nom. You know what I mean? At least in the rap, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I don't know, bro. It's really, really good. What's interesting too is when I first listened to it, I was playing it in the background, and I'm like, you know, I'm fucking with it and shit. I didn't really get to sit down till Saturday while I'm like cleaning up playing it, and it's just like not a skip on the album, not a single skip, you know, like, and he jumps from, you know what I'm saying, thank God for me to, like, you know what I'm saying, like jazz shit right after that, like he's sampling Chicken Head, then a jazz sample. And then the horns, and then a fucking piano. I'm like, nigga, the keys. I'm like, bro, he going everywhere with it. And it just all is, you know, it's a gumbo of an album. You know what I'm saying? That roux keeping it all locked in. And I wonder what the roux is. What's a connective tissue? I've been trying to like sit, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is it that makes it all of this so cohesive? I don't understand it, but it's a work of art, Joe.
Yeah,
flat out.
Yeah, you know, it's like I said, like there's tons of like beat switches. There's tons of times where he just lets a beat ride for 10 seconds and then it's a completely different beat. It's like it's a cohesive chaos, if that makes sense, right? Like Crazy. It's an experience when you listen to it, because, you know, he takes you so many different places, and there's times where you're like, oh, why you switch the beat? I love that beat. Then you're like, hold up, I love this fucking beat too, right? Yeah.
And then he does shit with like Smile, where he gives you 1:12. Boom, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think he says the end at the end, or finito or some shit, and then that's the end of the album. And then somebody hit him like, yo, is there more of Smile? He's like, yeah, but this is what you get. It's like, you know, like to me, I feel like the way he approached this shit, I really would want like an interview of how he approached making this album.
Yeah,
because it's truly special. It's truly special.
Did you see?
But even like the Childish Major song, that's Childish Major's song, basically. You feel me? Mm. But it's like, this makes sense here. So I don't give a fuck if like Childish Major is the one that, like, you know, I don't have to shine in this moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bro, I don't know, man.
Did you see
Just
what
love
Did you see what he said on Twitter when someone asked him if he was gonna like drop a deluxe version with 2 or 3 extra songs? He was like
19 songs. What are you talking about?
Well, he was like disgusted. He was like, "I'm not." He's like, I think he said like I care too much about this.
Yeah.
Like I put the album out I want to put out. I'm not gonna make people rebuy it for another 2,000 in sales. Like fuck that.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, and only good things come from that approach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even like I said, I talked about the rollout, but like if you watch the videos, like he's editing some of the rollout videos. Like his house is flooding, you know what I'm saying? And he's getting a haircut, editing some of the videos himself. Like he was so engrossed in every part of
it.
this.
Like a motherfucker.
It feels like it's so much of him. And it's, I don't know, man. Just great shit.
Shall we
tapped in, Jackson? Does Schoolboy interest you at all? I know you're really young.
He does. I haven't listened to this album yet. I am a fan of his, but I have not listened to this album yet. I'm excited to.
Best album I've heard maybe since K Dot. And I'll listen to this more than K Dot, but that's just I'm not, that's subjective. You feel me? So get in on the action with Draftking Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet.
Bron and the Lakers are looking a little better, so I'm excited to see how they do coming out of All-Star break with some big games against the Warriors and the Suns coming up.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Jenkins, Jenkins. The crown is yours.